So, the wrist warm-up that we did the other day, the first one was setting up fever arms. So you keep your hands together and we're rolling them like this. Uh-oh, I hear trouble. Ollie, you're not helping. So we rolled them this way. We put a little bit of isometric resistance in. Well, not completely isometric because obviously we're still moving. And then we go the other way as well. And that's going to start the wrist warm-up. Harley, do one. The next one, puffing the pastry. So this was where we tried to make suction cups with our hands like this. So we were down here and really made an effort to contract all those intrinsic hand muscles. And we were doing this for about a minute or so, just to really get those hands warmed up. So then when we put the hands down, we could feel the difference. The next one, which was quite tricky, and this was the finger isolation. So we kept the thumb still and we moved the fingers to the thumb. It was close, wasn't it? Now the other one, which is even harder, which I'm useless at, a work in progress, is now moving the thumb to the fingers. Now there's an easier way that we can do this later where we lock down the wrist. Actually, let's do this one now. So, the next one, we came into this position here. We came back a little bit, keeping the elbows straight. So now we've got that full stretch on and the soles of the hands have just lifted up. Now, we move the thumbs around. So they're squeezing in there. So that's very similar to the one where we actually move the thumbs to the fingers. And from there, this one you might want to put a cushion underneath. There's various different ways of doing it. The easy version, you get right on the back of that wrist on there, and then just soften your elbows to start with. And then we made the tulips with the hands. Now, if you want to make that a little bit tougher, remember we went this way, and instead of letting the elbows come out, we straighten the elbows. Harley. You straighten the elbows, keep the shoulders down the back, elbows rotated forwards, and then we make the tulips, which is really quite tricky. And we're just looking for any kind of compensation coming up through the shoulders if one elbow needs to bend. And we're trying to keep that nice and straight. And then there's progressions where you take it up onto your knees and stuff like that, but we're not going to do that. So, finger lifting. I am really bad at finger lifting. But the idea is shoulders over the wrists, and then from there all you do is lift your fingers up individually. Now mine were the best one in the world, don't move at all. So you can cheat it by coming back a little bit and then start those fingers tapping, trying to keep that elbow as straight as possible. Then you progress it to coming forwards. You can also just do tapping. So if you play the piano, this is probably going to be slightly easier. And again, progress it back forwards again. What else did we have? We had the isometric wrist extension. So this was the one where we said that if you can get your hand up to 90 degrees without it being on the floor, then you know you pretty much own your flexibility. Whereas if you can get it to here, but then you put it on the floor and you stretch it, then we've probably got all sorts of ligaments and stuff stretching as well. So the way we started to work into that was, and I use, I don't know, I've got a bad wrist and a bad knee. Let's show you the one with the good wrist. So from here, you take the stretch up into this wrist. So it's actually down. I'm trying to get that 90-90 position. Then from there, using your wrist extensors, you try and hold. I know, you sit there for me, good boy. So from here, then as you come forwards, you try and keep that 90-90 position. Again, really, really hard to do, but over time it will get easier, particularly if you guys are going to be using your wrists in every session as well. You want to really, really look after those. And the same with the guys who you work with as well. Then just to finish off, There's various ways that you can stretch the wrists when you're down in this position here. So we've got just on all fours, you can start rocking gently forwards. So just taking the weight over those wrists, trying to keep the back of the hands in contact with the mat all the way through. You can take them out to the side and just rotate from side to side. And then a little bit like what we did before, you rotate them all the way around so they're facing back towards your knees. And then you just rock back. Hardly. Anyway, that is pretty much all the exercises for the wrist. So yeah, just make sure you warm them up really, really well, because if they're giving you trouble, then you're not going to be able to practice. So yeah, warm them up well, warm your clients up well, and enjoy longevity in your wrists.